Coming up,
Every generation of the royal family has to reinvent the role for the generation that they serve.
the role of a lifetime.
He's going to bring down to earth wisdom and connection.
That starts with heartbreak.
He could become king sooner than what he ever anticipated.
Those who know him best reveal how William...
Just that what you see is what you get.
The future King of England just shattered decades of royal protocol
They're pictures that shine a light on a future king.
with a speech so devastating that Downing Street went into emergency damage control mode within minutes. 3 cabinet ministers have resigned in the last few hours.
2 of the most senior members of his cabinet resigned.
Westminster corridors are filled with panicked conversations and fractured alliances. And what Prince William revealed about the current government's priorities has ignited the most explosive confrontation between the Crown and elected officials in modern British history. Right now, political insiders are whispering that this isn't just a bad news cycle. This is the beginning of a complete governmental collapse. Stay with us as we uncover exactly how one afternoon at a veterans ceremony turned into a constitutional crisis that could change Britain forever. The moment that shattered royal protocol. It happened at exactly 2:47 in the afternoon. Prince William stood before a room filled with men who had given their bodies and souls defending British freedom at the Imperial War Museum. These weren't politicians or celebrities. These were warriors who understood sacrifice in ways most people never will. And what William said next sent shockwaves through every corridor of power in London. His words were measured, delivered with the calm precision of someone who had thought through every syllable. But the message underneath was absolutely scorching. He spoke about people in positions of authority who had seemingly forgotten what genuine service actually means.
Now look, speaking of Prince William, he has been hugged and mobbed.
He talked about those who confuse having power with having purpose, who mistake their position for wisdom. The room went completely silent. Every veteran, every official, every person watching knew exactly who he meant. This wasn't some vague, philosophical reflection. This was direct, unmistakable, and deliberately public. Political observers immediately recognized what was happening. William had just done what no modern royal has dared to do. He had publicly challenged the Prime Minister without actually naming him. The implication was crystal clear, and the timing was devastating. Within minutes, mobile phones across Westminster were buzzing with urgent messages. Senior advisors were scrambling. And inside number 10, Keir Starmer was reportedly watching the speech with a face that witnesses described as darkening with every passing second. Starmer's nuclear response. What happened next was something nobody predicted. Most prime ministers, when indirectly criticized by royalty, take the diplomatic route. They issue careful statements about respecting all perspectives or simply ignore it entirely. Not Starmer. Within 90 minutes, he was standing before cameras at his official residence, and what came out of his mouth was nothing short of political warfare. His face was tight with barely controlled anger. His voice had that sharp edge that people recognize when someone has completely lost their patience. Starmer began by calling William a young man who had never experienced a single day of real work, someone who had never struggled with mortgage payments or felt the genuine weight of responsibility that ordinary citizens carry. He accused the future king of being born into wealth and privilege.
After his father, Prince Charles, Prince William is second in the line of succession to the British throne.
Then having the audacity to lecture elected officials about service and duty. But he didn't stop there. Starmer went further, saying the British people elected him, not William. He made it clear that he wasn't interested in taking constitutional lessons from someone whose greatest achievement was simply being born into the right family. The venom in those words was unmistakable. This wasn't political disagreement. This was personal contempt being broadcast to the entire nation. The reaction was immediate and absolutely devastating. Opposition leaders who rarely agree on anything united in condemnation. Conservative leadership called it the most disgraceful attack on the monarchy in generations. Scottish National Party figures demanded an immediate public apology. Even typically diplomatic Liberal Democrat voices said Starmer had crossed a boundary that British politics has respected for centuries. Social media exploded. News channels went into 24-hour crisis coverage, and inside the Labour Party itself, phones were ringing off the hook as panicked MPs tried to understand what their leader had just done. The resignations begin. Within hours, the consequences started rolling in like a devastating avalanche. Louise Hay, the Transport Secretary and someone considered one of Starmer's closest political allies, submitted her resignation. But she didn't just quietly step away.
Louise Hay has given her resignation to the Prime Minister.
Her resignation letter, which the government desperately tried to keep private but was leaked almost immediately, contained language so damaging that political analysts immediately recognized it as a calculated strike. Hay wrote that she couldn't continue serving a prime minister who showed such obvious contempt for the institution that holds the nation together. She talked about the monarchy representing continuity, stability, and genuine service, and accused Starmer of attacking all three. This wasn't just a policy disagreement. This was a senior government figure publicly stating that the Prime Minister had betrayed fundamental British values. Then came John Healey, the Defence Secretary. His resignation was even more explosive because it came with something that terrified Downing Street: military endorsement. Healey revealed that he had received personal phone calls from 4 serving generals expressing serious concerns about Starmer's judgment and temperament. He wrote that when senior military commanders start questioning the Prime Minister's respect for constitutional order and the chain of command, remaining in position becomes impossible. The military angle transformed this from a political scandal into something far more dangerous. It suggested that the armed forces themselves, the backbone of national security, were losing confidence in civilian leadership. That kind of fracture doesn't heal easily, and everyone in Westminster understood the implications. But the bombshell that nobody saw coming dropped late at night. Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary and one of Labour's most experienced and senior political figures, submitted her resignation just before midnight.
We were talking a bit earlier about some big figures moving around. I think that Yvette Cooper is going to be moved from the Home Office.
Sources inside the Home Office described her as furious, pacing her office for hours, making frantic calls to colleagues. Her resignation letter was brief but absolutely devastating. Just 2 sentences that will follow Starmer for the rest of his career. She wrote that British people deserve leadership that unites rather than divides, and that recent events demonstrated the exact opposite. Cooper's departure wasn't just another resignation in a growing list. It was a signal flare to the entire Labour Party that the serious, experienced adults had given up on Keir Starmer. Political analysts immediately understood what was happening. This wasn't organic collapse from unexpected pressure. This was coordinated demolition, carefully planned strategic moves by senior figures who had decided that Starmer needed to go, and needed to go immediately. The veterans abandoned, while others prosper. Behind all this political theater lies a truth that makes the entire situation even more morally outrageous. British veterans, the men and women who stood beside William at that Imperial War Museum speech, are being systematically neglected by the very government that sent them into danger. Meanwhile, people arriving illegally receive immediate accommodation in quality hotels, with full support and benefits often within hours of arrival. Lieutenant Colonel James Patterson lost his leg serving 3 tours in Afghanistan, defending British interests and values. When he came home and desperately needed surgery, he waited 14 months. 14 months of constant pain, 14 months of bureaucratic runarounds, 14 months of being told by health service administrators that his case wasn't considered priority. His wife Sarah spoke to reporters with tears streaming down her face, explaining that they had been forced to sell their family home just to afford private medical treatment because the government that sent him to war had completely abandoned him when he returned. While Patterson suffered, While his family struggled and sacrificed again, the Home Office was processing asylum claims in mere days. Migrants were being housed in 4-star hotels across Brighton, Manchester, and London. 3 meals daily, full housekeeping service, access to legal representation, all paid for by British taxpayers. One Manchester hotel that routinely turns away veterans who can't afford room rates currently houses hundreds of asylum seekers at a cost exceeding £4 million annually to taxpayers.
Life inside asylum accommodation. These exclusive pictures show that although it's often portrayed as luxurious,
that breaks down to over £17,000 per person each year, while British heroes sleep in vehicles or on friends' sofas waiting for government housing that never materializes. The contrast is so morally reprehensible that even lifelong Labour supporters are questioning everything they once believed. Margaret Davies, a woman who voted Labour in every single election since the 1970s, recorded a video that went massively viral. She said she felt ashamed for supporting a party that treats national heroes like garbage while rolling out red carpets for people who've contributed nothing to the country. Her sentiment echoes across Britain in community centres and working-class neighbourhoods where traditional Labour voters are literally tearing up membership cards and walking away from the party their families supported for generations. The King's unprecedented move. Then something happened that nobody anticipated. King Charles, who has meticulously maintained constitutional neutrality since taking the throne, broke decades of protocol with an action so dramatic that constitutional experts are calling it seismic. At precisely 4:15 yesterday afternoon, just hours after Starmer's attack on William, Charles summoned the Prime Minister to Buckingham Palace for what sources describe as an extraordinary emergency audience. This wasn't a scheduled meeting or ceremonial function. This was an emergency summons with just 30 minutes' notice, giving Starmer no time to prepare, no time to strategize, no time to bring advisors or spin doctors. Cameras at the palace gates captured Starmer arriving alone, his face drained of color, his trademark confidence completely evaporated. The meeting lasted 47 minutes. When Starmer emerged, witnesses said he looked like someone who had just received the worst news of their life. Palace staffers speaking anonymously described what happened inside that room as unlike anything in modern royal history. The king wasn't shouting or losing his temper, but his disappointment was crushing, his words devastating in their measured delivery. He reminded Starmer that attacking the heir to the throne isn't just attacking his son, it's attacking the institution itself. And when you attack the institution, you attack every person in Britain who finds stability and continuity in the crown. Another source revealed even more damaging details. Apparently, Charles reminded Starmer of his oath of office.
Sir Keir Starmer, Your Majesty. Your Majesty.
The solemn pledge to serve the crown and uphold constitutional order. The king's words were reportedly simple and direct. You swore an oath. Today, you broke it. The optics are absolutely catastrophic for Starmer. Every British Prime Minister understands the fundamental rule. You never make the monarch choose between family and constitutional duty. You never force the king's hand. Starmer did both, and now he's paying the price. Markets panic and Labour implodes. The domino effect that followed has been unlike anything Britain has witnessed in peacetime. Financial markets responded with immediate panic. The pound sterling dropped significantly against the dollar within hours, wiping billions from British asset values. Major companies with royal brand connections saw their share prices collapse. International investors, already nervous about Labour's economic policies, started pulling money out of London. Currency traders in Frankfurt and New York openly questioned Britain's political stability. One major bank analyst was overheard asking why anyone would invest in a country having a civil war between the government and crown. Japanese investors, traditionally major holders of British bonds, began selling positions. The Bank of England was forced to issue statements assuring markets that British institutions remain stable, but the very fact they needed to make such statements revealed how serious the crisis had become. Inside the Labour Party itself, the fractures have become canyons. Private messaging groups that started as venting sessions have transformed into operational headquarters for a coup. One leaked group includes dozens of Labour MPs, multiple cabinet ministers, and Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner herself. Messages reveal a coordinated strategy to force Starmer's resignation within 72 hours. One message reads bluntly, "He's finished. We either remove him or we lose the next election catastrophically. Those are the only options." Social media has been absolutely merciless. Hashtags supporting William trended globally for hours, accumulating hundreds of millions of impressions. Even celebrities typically silent on politics weighed in. Respected actors posted pictures of William with single-word captions like dignity. Sports stars shared the Imperial War Museum speech without comment, the message clear. When even left-leaning public figures distance themselves, the political calculation has permanently shifted. Inside Westminster, the atmosphere has descended into barely controlled chaos. Ministers are arguing in corridors. Relationships built over years are disintegrating in hours. The normal business of government has completely frozen while Labour tears itself apart. Shadow cabinet meetings, policy briefings, legislative reviews, everything stopped while the party imploded from within. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner, once Starmer's most loyal defender, is now working behind the scenes in a way everyone recognizes as leadership positioning. She's taking meetings with influential backbenchers, reassuring donors, speaking to the media about stability and unity. She's not defending Starmer anymore. She's preparing to replace him. William's strategic silence and Farage's rise. What hasn't been widely reported is what Prince William did immediately after that palace meeting. According to sources with direct knowledge, William convened an emergency session with Royal Foundation leadership. Present were senior military advisors, constitutional experts, and representatives from veterans organizations across the United Kingdom. The meeting lasted 3 hours. A proposal emerged titled Service Before Self, a comprehensive program where the royal family would directly fund and oversee veterans' welfare, completely bypassing government bureaucracy. Housing assistance, medical care, employment services, mental health support, all coordinated through royal patronage with private funding. One section states clearly, when the state fails those who serve, the Crown must step forward. This is not politics. This is my duty. If William moves forward, and senior palace sources suggest he absolutely will, it would be the most direct challenge to government authority in modern British history. It would create a parallel welfare system that exposes government failures while demonstrating royal commitment to the people. Starmer would be left defending a position where he attacks the future king for actually helping the very veterans his government abandoned. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage is positioning Reform UK not just as an alternative party, but as defenders of traditional Britain. While Starmer burns bridges with the monarchy, while Labour tears itself apart, Farage speaks to crowds across Britain with the calm confidence of someone who knows the tide has turned. His message is simple and powerful. When others attack the future king, we stand with him. When others forget what service means, we remember. The response has been extraordinary. Reform UK membership applications crashed their website multiple times. Donations are flooding in from small contributors giving modest amounts because they believe in what Farage represents. Former Labour voters are switching allegiances by the thousands. In traditional working-class constituencies, Reform UK is now polling ahead of both Labour and Conservatives. The latest polling tells a story that has Westminster in absolute panic. With votes split 3 ways between major parties, Reform UK could potentially deliver Farage an outright parliamentary majority. Britain could have its first Reform UK government led by a man the establishment spent decades trying to destroy. The next 72 hours. Parliament returns from recess tomorrow morning, and Labour backbenchers are preparing a vote of no confidence in Starmer's leadership. Angela Rayner has reportedly secured commitments from enough MPs to trigger a leadership election. The cabinet is in open revolt with 3 ministers gone and several more threatening to follow. Markets are in freefall with international investors questioning Britain's stability. Veterans' organizations are demanding Starmer's resignation, calling his attack on William an insult to everyone who served. And through all this chaos, all this uncertainty, all this constitutional crisis, Prince William has said nothing more. He delivered his speech. He stood with veterans. And now he lets his actions speak louder than any words. That silence is more powerful than any statement, because every hour William stays dignified and composed, Starmer looks more unhinged, more desperate, more completely unfit to lead. This crisis will be studied for generations as the moment when a prime minister's ambition collided with an institution older than Parliament itself. History shows that when the British people are forced to choose between their elected government and their constitutional monarchy, they choose the crown every single time. At the center of this catastrophe stands Keir Starmer, isolated in Downing Street, watching his government disintegrate, his party rebel, and his political career circle the drain. The question now isn't whether he survives. It's how long he can hold on before the inevitable end. What happens next could change Britain forever. So here's what everyone's asking right now. Did Keir Starmer just destroy his political career with 90 seconds of rage-fueled stupidity? Will he resign in the next 3 days, or will he fight to the bitter end even as his own party abandons him? Does Prince William's dignified silence win this war, or should the royal family push back even harder? And most importantly, is Nigel Farage about to become the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? The next 72 hours are absolutely critical. Leaked messages between Angela Rayner and Labour MPs plotting Starmer's removal are already circulating, and what they reveal is shocking. This story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. What started as a veterans' ceremony speech has exploded into the biggest constitutional crisis in modern British history, and the outcome will define the nation for decades to come. If this political earthquake shocked you, share this with everyone who needs to understand what's really happening behind closed doors in Westminster. The mainstream media won't give you the complete picture because they're too invested in protecting their allies. But the truth always finds a way out. Make sure you stay informed as this unprecedented crisis continues to unfold, because tomorrow could bring revelations that make today look calm by comparison. Britain stands at a crossroads, and the path chosen in the next few days will echo through history. Subscribe and stay connected, because this is one story you cannot afford to miss as it develops in real time.